You know, here's one thing that I have to say. During the offseason, I was writing off Brock Purdy because I wasn't sure about him. A lot of you guys just can't take opinions the right way. You know what? I took my L. You know why I took my L? Because, you got to admit when you're wrong. I've been writing this narrative on this kid. I didn't hate the kid. I just wasn't sure about him. One thing he did that stood out to me was consistency plays. The way he throws the ball, very accurate. And one thing he proved to me was when he came back from an injury, he didn't miss a beat. If anything else, he got a little bit better down the stretch at this point. So as far as the MVP conversation, a lot of you guys are probably going to disagree, and some of you guys are probably going to just say the same thing how I feel. If you are not a Niners fan, and if you are a Niners fan, there is a side of you that will probably say Brock Purdy does deserve conversation, and there's some of you guys that just don't know shit about football and don't like the Niners, and you don't want to give credit where it's due to a guy like Brock Purdy, then probably you're just going to be an idiot. So I want to say this. Name me a quarterback who's put up numbers like this. Like, take away the talent aside. Take away the play calling. Like, I've never seen this type of quarterback play like this before. Like, come on. I haven't seen a quarterback like this since Steve Young or other quarterbacks from past years that we've had. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jeff Garcia was pretty damn good, but I don't think Garcia was putting those type of mind-blowing numbers. I mean, he was putting up some pretty interesting numbers, but it wasn't like Steve Young mind-blowing numbers, kind of, Like, I'm not saying that Brock Purdy is those next great quarterbacks, but man, the guy is putting some great numbers, man. If he keeps it up, he can be our franchise quarterback for a long time. Like, I don't know. Something about Brock Purdy. This is like one of them great stories. At first, I was like saying, we don't need these feel great stories type of guys. We want a guy who can win us football games, but the real goal is to win the Super Bowl. But in reality, we have to, acknowledge it. I know there's a lot of conversations with other quarterbacks. You can make an argument for Tua. You can make an argument for Dak Prescott. You can make an argument for Jalen Hurts, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, Tyreek Hill. There's just a lot of discussions, but when you guys don't want to consider Brock Purdy and you want to discredit this kid, I don't know what to say. If you think it's just the talent around them to be successful, then what did I see on Monday Night Football? What did I see on Monday Night Football? If that's the case, then Joe Burrow's a system quarterback. Look at the kid that they just had, Jake Browning. The guy just beat one of the top AFC teams out there. So you're telling me that it's different, right? But come on, man. Brock Purdy's winning football games. I don't get y'all common sense, man. So Jalen Hurts, when he has weapons, he's playing at a high level. But I'm just saying, look at his numbers. Not that good. But he's in the conversation. I don't get it. I mean, there's a lot of different conversations. I mean, he's coming from behind, but what he got Sunday was a humble experience. I don't know what to tell you guys. You need to watch the film. You need to watch Chase Daniels' videos. You need to watch JT O'Sullivan's videos. You need to watch Kurt Warner's videos. You need to watch a lot of that shit. Don't be like a Nick Wright. Don't be like those other guys, man. Those other sports takers. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. You got to watch the game in order to be the judge. Because if you're doing casual takes, then you don't know shit about football. You got to watch the fucking game. Don't be like a Nick Wright, because that dude does not know a fucking thing about football. Anytime I watch Nick Wright have takes, his takes are garbage because he doesn't seem to watch the game. Like, maybe he watches the Chiefs play, but he does not know what he's talking about. Like, when you watch other guys like Stephen A. Smith at times and Shannon Sharp, some of them don't even get a chance to watch the game. Like, there's plenty of those dudes. Guys like Dan Orlovsky, you guys may say, well, Orlovsky's a garbage quarterback, but the dude watches the game and he freaking does breakdowns. Like, you can appreciate guys like that who play the game and actually know what they're talking about. At least they're watching the game. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff. At least try to watch the game before you judge a quarterback. And some of you guys may think it's being a hater if I'm being honest on other takes, but I give credit where it's due to other players. I mean, who gives a shit about the competition? But everybody wants to put Dak Prescott on the top of the conversation, which it's not out of the question, but I don't think he would have done it against better defense. That's just my opinion. Not a hater, not being biased or nothing like that. Like, I don't see how he does against great defense. Like, you can look at the way Jalen Hurts is playing. It's not quite the best year he had. Like, last year was his best season. You look at Josh Allen, he's having an up and down year. I mean, there's a lot. Like, Patrick Mahomes is not even playing exactly the way he used to play. His numbers are down because he doesn't have enough supporting cast receivers. He doesn't have those kind of receivers to make up for it. Like, outside of Travis Kelce, all he has is Rashid Rice. That's it. Like, nobody else is all that good. I mean, I can make a strong argument for other players. Like, look at the numbers of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is playing at a very high level. He makes everybody better. I mean, I don't know what to say. If that's not convincing you, then I don't know what to say. I'm giving you my honest opinion. I'm giving you my 2 cents. You know, my opinion changed. And some of you guys are questioning the way how we have to have opinions. The way I look at it is I have to see more out of Brock Purdy, which I've seen a lot, and I've seen enough. And when I said I've seen enough, that makes me change my mind. When you are a real Niners fan and football fan, you have to have realistic takes and you have to see to believe it. You don't want to be one of those guys that falls for that bullshit. But Brock Purdy has shown that he is a legit quarterback. And there's nothing else that can prove otherwise. I mean, look at the defense he's faced. Look at how the defense was trying to blitz the guy. And when you blitz him, you're not going to get to this guy. Good luck with that because he's going to throw the ball. Even in multiple coverage, he somehow makes the play. I've never seen that with Jimmy Garoppolo. When Jimmy Garoppolo throws the ball, it can either be an interception or a fucking missed throw. But with Brock Purdy, he throws it right on the money. They call it a dot. The dot. He puts it right on the dot. Like, anytime I see Brock Purdy trying to make a play, bro, he can read. He reads defense. He processes quickly. This kid is a baller, bro. I don't know what to say. I don't know what can convince you guys. But hey, I may not do much videos, but since it's kind of been an inspiring for somebody and inspiring for other people, I've been kind of asked this like over a week ago from people who still support the content. Some people I know personally, they say, why you stop doing YouTube videos? I gave them my reason, but you know, I just don't feel the passion for it. You know, I do it on TikTok, but I might just have to do a few videos from time to time. But I'm not going to just do it all the time. But I'm giving you real takes on Brock Purdy. I even had a chance to interview one of his high school coaches, and he told me everything I needed to know about this kid. But the kid started to pass the true test, which how can he respond from a injury that he had in the NFC Championship game? He passed with flying colors. How did he respond against a team that knocked him out of the NFC Championship game? That was the ultimate test. He actually responded really well. And what can he do against a good defense when they figured him out? They didn't have an answer. He still played the same game. It doesn't seem like it phases him much. He's a calm and collected guy. He's a humble individual. Like, what other quarterback is going to spend their bye week going to a farm in Iowa with harvest or something like that? Like, who does that? Most players during the bye week would probably want to party and do some shit, but that's not Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's a humble individual who comes into the game with just regular clothes that just looks like an average Joe clothes. Brock Purdy, man. I can't even think of a quarterback like that right now. They're just not a quarterback. Maybe his salary cap is part of the reason why, because he's on a rookie deal and it's not that big of a deal of a contract. But still, I can't think of a quarterback like him. There just hasn't been a quarterback like that. And he doesn't let it phase him. That's the good thing about Brock Purdy. But as far as my opinion, man, it's changed. It's changed a little bit about him. I think he deserves to be in the MVP conversation. He doesn't have to win the MVP. He just needs to get the conversation and then go from there. I think he deserves conversation because he's playing at a very high level. He elevates people. That's good.